I added to my agenda, so maybe,
Oh, did
maybe
you?
not.
Just kidding.
But I was driving, so when I left here, I was driving, let me go get the coffee, and I was like, getting ready to turn and go into Dunkin' Donuts. I was like, why not do Starbucks?
Huh? We have 11, so it'd be 6, but we, 2, 4, 5, no,
I don't count.
he doesn't,
So you
yeah.
can do, but you can't vote.
Yeah, we just can't vote on anything.
don't think we're voting on
So we could like skip over the minutes and stuff like that if we want to do that.
Cool, it's called the Main Street Advisory Board to order, and we'll skip the minutes until we get 6 here. Let's just go into the staff report.
All right, just a update on new businesses. We have North Star Realty, which is going in next to Happy Dog, and they are working on doing some interior painting and fixing up, and and I was looking through the emails this morning, so I was going to, they have a ribbon cutting and open date, and so I'll email everyone that, so that's on your calendar if you want to stop in and say hi. We're making progress with the old general store. Leases have been signed in the front and the back, so we have an outfitter store coming in the front, and a barber shop in the back where Doug's Barber used to be. So I don't know if you've noticed, there is a auction sign in the window of the old general store. So this Saturday, the 18th, Matt is having an auction just to sell the remaining contents inside the building so that they can then have room to come in and start getting ready for the outfitter store. So, any questions, new businesses? Okay.
The 2 chicks in a truck opened up.
Oh, thank you, Danny. Yes, 2 chicks in a truck opened up on the other side of Garibaldi Realty where Mugshots used to be. They opened up last Thursday just with their ice creams for now. Adrian, myself, Jamie, and Cassidy were their first customers. They were all played it safe and got cones and cup. I got the big 2 homemade cookies with the ice cream in the middle like this. It was like literally like this big. And so they're now open, and then they will eventually get into doing their Philly cheesesteak sandwiches. But they're participating in our Friday Night Live concert series to also help promote their business, which is good. So, so if you're in the mood for some ice cream, check them out. We have our State Main Street annual visit coming up. It's still tentatively set for the 21st for the evening. They have not confirmed, even though so I'm going to follow back up with them today. They'll come in and meet with Adrian, Shelley, and Danny and I, and just really go over our work plan, look at what's going on, just an annual status update.
And that's in this
I
month?
think I think it's actually next week, and so we were going back and forth with dates.
I thought I saw something where she asked to move it to like June 6th or 7th because her son's having his wisdom teeth pulled or something. I'll look
Okay,
it up. Yeah,
okay.
I'll double check.
We were still trying to set that date, and I
That
thought it
was
was.
Liz Farm, right?
Right. And so, I didn't see that email, so.
Yeah, I think it came in when you were gone. so-
Okay. And so, facade grants, I got paperwork in from, Chad yesterday, or either Monday or Tuesday, so I'll be wrapping up, his facade grant. And then I'm already starting to get, some paperwork and communicating with businesses for the next fiscal year. So it'll be a busy time for, our design committee. I've already got, this week I got paperwork from, are y'all sitting down? From Friends. They're now ready to replace their awning. And so that'll, We got their facade grant in. I'm also working with Garibaldi Realty. Their paint is, and mortar is, they need to do some work on their building. Also working with Mike Kimmett. He's wanting to do some work on the buildings over in the River District. And also Matt Nada is wanting to do some work, facade work on the front and back of the old general store. So it'll be a busy beginning of the new fiscal year with facade grant applications. So, good morning, Jennifer. So that is my update.
Any questions
Great.
for Phil?
Any questions about anything?
Let's jump right into the design committee.
Okay.
Now that Phil's giving you more to do.
Okay.
I'm holding off to the new fiscal year.
Well, I can throw this up there if you want to just sign the password to get onto that solstice thing.
You have solstice?
I do. You want to do it?
Yeah, I'll do it. She's right here. So, and we can tell you what it is. You're on here enough. And I think that should be it. I just didn't have to. Okay. There you go.
Okay, so
Desktop.
So this is, I think last week I showed you what this main screen, approved main screen had been, and this is our approved sub-screen. So this, obviously these things don't match, like it says food and drink and breakfast, and then it's got SpyTech, but we were sort of mix and matching some of our longest names and longest things to see how it would work. So once someone presses a category, it would go to this screen where you'd see the map, you'd see whatever that category that was pressed. This is actually, you press a category and then you press a subcategory. So it will say the category name. We're hoping that it'll also be able to say the subcategory name. They have to figure out their back end on how to do that. And then it would list all the entities underneath it. When someone selects one, it'll turn red so they know it's there. And then you have this detail on the right of everything about that business, including a QR code. If they have a website, you can do the QR code and walk away with their website. And then the bottom, of course, just has the functionality to take you back to either the home screen or any specific button that of the menu buttons that you want to press. So that's where we are with that.
That's awesome.
Thank you. We think it'll be really functional, user-friendly, and lots and lots.
Colors.
And look nice.
Colors, the black and red that goes with the wayfinding and everything else. It's
Yeah.
beautiful.
Thank you. And that in the kiosk, it really we saw some mock-ups inside, like the way the caboose enclosure kiosk, and it works pretty well. And the map stands out, having the green and the blue, so that's all good stuff. So yeah, that's happening there, and then that continues. This design process is in full swing. Emily Rudisell, who's on the committee, is a superstar. And yeah, I mean, we'll just keep giving you updates. We're still on track for it's either going to be a June 5th install or a June 15th install. So that's kind of what we're still aiming for. And then call to artist for the box art wrap. We're continuing to get some box art wrap in. We do need to promote that. Absolutely, we do not have enough entries yet for my satisfaction, and I think it's, you can tell when you promote it and you put it out there, you get like a flood of entries after, a short while after. So that just needs to happen, and I think, Phil, if you can get up with Katie with our group.
Okay.
Yeah, Katie is going to be taking over from Ryan as far as the promotion plan, and she just needs some help on getting those ideas in action on our Facebook page.
Okay.
So, yeah, those things are happening, and then on the History Walk, we did do the presentation to City Council, so that's all official, and if anyone hasn't downloaded Belmont Go or taken the History Walk yet, I encourage you to do it.
Do it now.
Do it right now.
While the weather's nice.
Yeah. So yeah, that's happening, and then again, just any promotion. I don't know if the whenever you see opportunities as the promotion committee, like if you make any flyers or you do anything,
Yeah,
just
agree with
keep
that.
that in mind, please. That would be wonderful, because it's just about getting the word out there to people that it's there.
And during the art walk, we had some more of the call out, and
Yep.
Harmony was passing them out.
That's right,
When they
that's
had
right.
their art, with their opening. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh.
we do need to really promote that more.
The other thing is photography. We did do photography during the art walk. We did a little bit of photography of the art walk, but not a ton. But then we also did Trip led us on top of the Stowe building, so we got great shots of Main Street as the lights were going down and the lights were coming up, and then, so various things. And then we also did photography at Friday Night Live, so we have some promotional stuff that we can use for next year from photographs from that. And the city was kind enough to get out there with the bucket truck, so we were able to get up high and get some really good, expansive shots of the crowd.
That's awesome.
Yeah, good stuff.
Any questions for Angela?
At our EV meeting this week, one of our members said, "Who did the history walk?" They said, "That thing is so good." So it's,
Wonderful. Well, I'm glad it's getting a good response. I've heard a couple people that took it, but they know me, so I wasn't sure.
All right, Mark, jump right in.
okay, there's a couple other things added to this. We did have a breakfast at Belmont Abbey, and Jennifer Church is here. I know she probably does not need me to introduce her, but she's been on.
Everybody knows
she's been
Jennifer,
on
right?
the board,
Who's
you know.
here?
She's the one that gets everything set up for the Friday Night Live and stuff. But we had a meeting, and unfortunately, I wasn't able to go to it because I was at NC State University Veterinary School. My dog getting a pacemaker, and so I missed out on it. But and Jennifer, you can go ahead and chime in if you want to. But they have an awesome internship at Belmont Abbey. They've placed like 180 interns, fall, summer, and spring. And if you're interested in an intern, I would suggest that you contact Jennifer. The people over there's a Stephanie Miles who's our contact person, but we're interested in having some interns from the Abbey. They had guest speakers there, people that had interns in their businesses, and they talked about how the mentors were very important for these, and what they don't want is for you to have an intern and just give her some kind of busy work. They really want them to have a real job, and to me that's a win-win situation for everybody. Did you have anything to add to that?
No, that was just part of what they're calling their President's Roundtable, so they're going to do periodic, that's Danny and Phil are there too.
They'll do another one, I forgot what the date was.
August the 20th,
Yeah.
on workforce development.
Yeah.
So I think that now that we've been there, maybe we'll continue to be on the list.
And there was actually some good networking going on as well, so it was kind of
Yeah,
a
absolutely.
twofold meeting. So it
And
was
they
really-
want to
it was
network
good.
with us, they really do. I mean, it's,
It's big in long-term relationships too. You had the CEO of Parkdale and Wilmore, and they're all sitting
Wilbur
there. So
Plastics.
Wilbur, sorry.
Mark, can you maybe just speak to the process if they do want to get an intern?
go ahead, I think since I wasn't there.
Yeah, they just said, we actually, Deb Woodley, she would be the business mentor for those business interns, and then Daphne Friday for the marketing. And
Business students have to have internships too.
do so unpaid, during the school year, they have to have so many credits, and they'll be mentored as well on their Belmont Abbey side. Yeah, summer intern, we can have summer interns, which would be really nice on the marketing side of things. So just send them a
The job description.
which I did. I've done one for us. We're hoping
could
to
help
have
out
two
with
interns
promotions.
for ED, one on the business side and one on the marketing side, because we're going to be putting together a marketing, a toolkit, which I'll talk about later.
Our business survey, which we've talked about before, it's a done deal, and we're just waiting on Phil to blast that thing out to the businesses. What have we got, about 90 businesses that we're gonna send the survey to, and once we get that data back, and with our committees, we look at it, we'll do a summary of the responses and things like that, so we're excited about that. And the last thing, our work plan document. The reason Jennifer is here is because she is the guru with this plan. I'm serious. I mean, you know, it's so wonderful when you have somebody on your committee that really seriously takes a leadership role, and that's what she has done. And so I thought, well, you know, I could read parts of this to you, but I really wanted her to be here because she knows the ins and outs of it. We met with Phil the other day, and what we've actually done is we've assigned our members. There's a lot of stuff here, and for any one or two people to try to tackle it would be ridiculous. And so we've assigned staff members to various parts of this, and I'm just really pleased with it. And at this time, I'd like to turn it over to Jennifer to speak on it.
Yeah, we just recognize that we need to do some business recruitment. We've got to get ahead of the curve here and be a little proactive in the kind of businesses that we need to be in here. You know, you look at the history walk, and there's a little section that says our walkability is only a 2. Well, that may be because we don't have enough routine content. So this is the kind of stuff that we want to recognize and try to get ahead of. So we look to business recruitment. How can we go out and find the businesses that we think would be a good fit? So there was no, maybe that's a great thing. So I just Googled and looked for business recruitment. Somebody had a plan out there. Somebody's already done this, and it was a partnership between the University of Wisconsin, Ohio State, and the University of Minnesota. They worked with the National Main Street Program to put together not only a business recruitment plan, but also business retention. And that, in my mind, is as important.
Okay.
We need to keep our businesses here that we love. How can we help them? We need to listen to them. Because they're going to be our biggest advocates for business recruitment in my mind. I need those merchants. In fact, we have a merchant association, bothers me a lot, because I need those merchants to be on our team. So it's really a 2-part plan. It's business recruitment and retention. And so these are just 8 steps that we took from that University of Wisconsin summary that they did. So we'll look at the market. We're also going to work with, looking at the market and getting demographics. A lot of this information is already done. The EDC has a lot of this information. So working with the city, the EDC, and the chamber. The chambers have a lot of information too. So we just have to tap in to all those current resources and put it all together. One of our goals will be is once we have this toolkit done, which we plan to do, we have all this information, the same information on the City of Belmont website, or if they're going to look at the EDC website, or if they look at the chamber website. It's a link that will be duplicate information so everybody can get the same message. That we're all working together on this. And the goal of this, after getting all the demographic information, the survey, what I talked about, I'd like to do some focus groups, maybe with community members, what do they think? So all of that is part of it. We're going to analyze the ESMA survey, what do we need, what are we lacking. And one of the other issues is what we have in downtown. We've got small little spaces that need to be upfitted. They're expensive to upfit sometimes. So how do we help a potential business person to do that? What grants are available? We know they're out there. So we've got a committee member that's going to focus on grants, state, federal, local, private partnerships, all those things. Anne-Marie Clinton will work on. So there's a little bit of work to do here, but I think
Just a little bit, right?
so we're going to utilize, like you need to see, using some of the resources that are already out there to help out. We'll use promotions committee because we'll eventually have we'll have a package that we can go out, physical package that Phil will use when we go out and solicit, and then we'll have an online package that's going to come. So we'll have a committee that will work with Phil to go out to some of the really cool towns, like Belmont, Odell, Waxhaw, places like that. Mooresville and Huntersville are really up and coming. Maybe we go as far as the Raleigh-Durham, the Durham line, some of the little cities out there, Chapel Hill, cool downtown. You know, what businesses are out there that we really like, and think would be a good fit, once we realize what our good fit is. And we ask them to look at that location. Belmont's got a lot of chatter in Charlotte, for sure. You know, I think a lot of people in there will chat and say, yeah, Angela, you work in Charlotte. You know, there's a lot of chatter. So we need to bring those people in. So that's what we'll be working on, and then we'll be working on putting together what we call a toolkit. So when we find a prospective person, or feel good to reach out from somebody, like we did from Jekyll and Hyde, we've got something that we can give them. It might even be with a volunteer from our committee, or a couple volunteers who will work together and help them get financing. Hook them up with some of the regional banks. How do you get financing to do the outfit? It's expensive to start a business. So you trying to buy into a franchise, $200,000. So let's see how much we can help them with some of the resources. I guess the college will be one of our resources too.
And when?
That's going to be very helpful. So we're going to try to put our
And we've got people even on our committee, that have banking experience, have commercial real estate experience, and we've got them in this plan. We've had a couple meetings with Ted Hall, with Mike Cross, and Donnie Hicks with the EDC, and we're going to continue to network with those folks as well. But great job, Jennifer. I tell you what. I think we've got a good plan.
Yeah, and I want to say that it's been great seeing our EV committee really kind of step up, because I know we've had a strong design and promotions committee in the past, and so it's good to see our EV committee really, we have some really good new members and a lot of meetings and a lot of work taking place, and so it's really exciting to see that. Now we just got to get our organization committee up to par with our other three, and we will be in business. So thank you all for the work you're doing.
And we're going to look to get 2 interns for this project.
So,
I can see why.
I think it's great too, using the chamber and all the other outlets, because they're, like you said, the data's there. It's
Yeah.
just a matter of
Yeah.
getting it all in one spot and working all together.
well, we've had several meetings with Ted Hall,
Oh, yeah.
and he's excited the direction we're going, and so yeah, he's all in to support and work with us. So
That's awesome stuff.
More to come.
Any other questions for Mark or Jennifer? Go ahead, David, jump right in.
All right, Friday Night Live. So for those of you who were able to make it out to last Friday Night Live, I expect you're probably as excited as I was to see the attendance, hear some of the feedback from people coming up to get their drinks on how excited they were and how much you were enjoying it. So we'll look to keep that momentum going. Hopefully see similar results at the upcoming events. But that's the biggest focus for us right now. Is we can't do that without volunteers. So big thanks to Jennifer on driving that volunteer effort. So we'll keep pushing that to support these upcoming events. We've really got all of our more traditional media type out at this point. So the efforts are focused on social media. So Melanie on the promotions committee has stepped up to help really drive focus on our social media. So that's very exciting. She's really knowledgeable in that area, so
yeah,
leverage her expertise.
So at our last meeting, she talked about doing a little contest, and so I think it was Jamie. She turned around and said, "Are these tickets valid?" Because we did a little Facebook contest as far as posting and sharing, and so we gave out. I think we gave a T-shirt and two free beer tickets. And just also as another fun way to kind of help promote, get people sharing and liking our Facebook post for Friday Night Live. So that was fun. So
yeah, definitely. We'll keep finding new creative ways to do that to help keep that momentum going. We are looking forward to some of our upcoming events, right? To kind of lay the groundwork there to figure out what we need to do to see some of the successes that we're seeing from Friday Night Live early, but so far. And then I would like to connect and understand more about next steps on getting an intern on the promotion side as well. So I know we spoke about that a little bit at our last committee meeting, but would like to drive that.
Right. And in our last promotions committee, we talked about we need to go ahead and really start working on, like David said, the upcoming events. We mentioned specifically Nightmare on Main Street and Christmas Village, to go ahead and really start laying the groundwork and start doing some early planning and not waiting for the last minute there. So if you have any ideas or suggestions on what we liked, or successes, or maybe some things that we can improve upon from last year, please shoot David or I an email, or we want to start working on that.
Sounds good. Any questions for David?
No, I just want to add, I checked IDs pretty much first half.
1998.
Yes, that was in my mind. Yes, it's plastered in my mind. Well, what was interesting was, I card everybody, and it was amazing to see where everybody was from. I couldn't, the amount of South Carolinians was amazing. That was probably the most that I reviewed. They were from South Carolina, and a lot of the out-of-state, some from Connecticut, New York State, and so they were people that had just moved here like a couple of months ago, and they're living out at Conservancy. So whenever I got someone from out of state, I go, oh, hey, well, welcome. And they're like, well, I live here now. And I go, oh, great, where do you live? Just got some information. So it's definitely, it has a reach, and everybody loved it, so.
Even one of the volunteers, I forgot what her name was, but she's from Kentucky, and she just moved here, a couple months ago?
Kayla. She's good friends with Erica at Meraki Interior.
Yeah,
So
so she was there
Yeah.
volunteering.
recently married.
Just
She
moved
was
here.
having fun.
Yeah, it was amazing, and they're just like, oh, we love
Simone.
Belmont, and I was
Yeah.
like, great.
Simone, which one was Simone?
Simone was the lady who
Oh,
just came
yeah,
up
yeah,
to
yeah,
Phil and
yeah.
said,
Oh,
this is
yeah.
great, I want to help.
Yeah, so-
Actually, she asked Adrian, like, well, how do you get to, he was like, only awesome people. She says, well, I'm awesome. So Adrian said, go talk to Jennifer then. So she came over and we were talking to her. But I think one of the most exciting things from the crowd was they got to purchase 2 beers.
Yes, they
So I
like,
can take 2 and walk away.
yes, take 2 and walk away.
Take 'em.
That was very
We did
exciting.
have some takeaways from this past event to carry on to the next one, with, what types of beer and how much, and things like that, but, yeah, very, very positive.
All right, all the organization committee, we'll talk about that on the next meeting. Chair report, I'll save my comments for the DBDA. Any other old business or new business we can talk about? All right, let's adjourn the Main Street Advisory Board, and let's jump right into the DBDA. We'll call it to order, and we'll go right into the secretary's report. We don't have enough to approve minutes, so we'll jump into the staff report.
All right, I just want to give some updates on some previous grants that we've wrote and some that are upcoming. 2 grants that we applied for, Caramont Health Community Grant for a $15,000 grant. I found out that'll be announced in June, sometime in June, so sometime within the next month.
And what was that going to?
It was, hey Caroline. It was July 4th and
Okay.
Christmas Village
All right,
to help, support
Okay.
the DBDA. And so the AARP Community Challenge Grant, it was a $35,000 grant that we submitted for a new kiosk and kind of the plaza development there in Glenway parking lot, and I have yet to see or find anywhere where they announce, where they're going to announce who their winners are. But it's got to be coming up soon because those projects have to be completed by November. So hopefully this next month we'll have some double good news. And so 3 grants that are coming up. We have the Central Iowa Council of Governments. About a month and a half ago, Shelley and Adrian and I attended a workshop in Charlotte with, it was Love Where You Live, and it was a really cool, great workshop. And they talked about these fun little small projects that you can do to really kind of get your community, to do some Facebook posts really promoting your community. And so they have a $500 creative placemaking grant, which is due in about a week and a half, I believe. And so, I will submit something. I'll probably, we broke off into teams and did some fun little projects, and I'll probably try to maybe, submit something like that, or maybe our art box wrap. That would cover a box. And so that'll be a $500 grant that we'll be applying for. The Community Foundation grant that we got last year for putting the lights on the buildings, that's coming up. It's like June, July. And so we'll be submitting again for that, I think mainly for the box, because they want to see more art with those grants. And about 2 weeks ago, I met with Michael Applegate with the Gaston County Travel and Tourism. They have a grant that is now that just opened, and so I was kind of talking with him about some things that we're doing, and we talked about next year's coming up with Belmont Blooms, and so he encouraged me to think about applying for a grant, so he knows at our concerts or Garibaldi, we have a band, and so he encouraged me to apply for a grant to bring in maybe a bigger band, and so if that's okay with y'all, that's the direction I'd like to go. Apply for a grant to try to bring in a much bigger band to maybe kick off our Friday Night Live concert series or part of the Garibaldi Festival of Belmont Blooms. So.
And that grant, both the DBDA and the city can apply, correct?
Yes.
Yes, okay, so we've been sending 2 grants.
If you've received that specific grant before, are you less likely to receive it the next year, do you think?
He talked about he's trying to revamp his grant because a lot of their grants, they're annual grants to, the tourism authorities and for different, so he's trying to really separate it for if it's operations for those annual projects that bring in tourism versus a kind of a one-time startup grant. So he's really trying to revamp his grant process.
What direction is it going, the annual or the one-time?
Both.
Both, okay.
Yeah, because right now it's just everyone has to annually apply, so he's looking at breaking it up. So if it's an annual, it's like a tourism authority, he's going to earmark in his budget, okay, that organization, they get $5,000 and $10,000 to market there instead of having to annually reapply.
That's nice.
Save you some time.
We'd like money every year.
Yes.
So that's grant updates. Any questions about grants, or anybody know of any, or heard of any other grants that we may want to look into?
If you see any, just forward them on.
Yeah, just flip them on. We finally, Mark, good news, we got our credit card this week. It's activated, and they told me to go ahead and use it, so I did. So we paid for, we pay for our public works guys that really work hard for Friday Night Live. So we pick up, we pay for dinner for them. So I used that. We're good. So that's good. And earlier this week, I just found out that Gastonia has already set the dates for their Friday Night Live concert, for their concert series, and so
For next year?
For next year, for 2020, and so now with their lineup, I would like to also maybe go ahead and propose that we lock in our dates and start working towards getting some bands booked, and so I'd like to propose, so Garibaldi is the last weekend, the Garibaldi Festival is the last weekend of April, correct? The last Saturday of April is, I think, how it's going to, with Belmont
I don't know what
Blooms.
it's going to be
Okay.
next year. If
Well,
it's going to be part of that Belmont Blooms, I don't know.
Right. Well, regardless,
Yeah.
so we could go one of the direction if we wanted to kind of kick off our Friday Night Live series as part of the Garibaldi Festival or part of the Belmont Blooms. That would be the last Friday of April, which would be April 24th. But then the regular schedule would be May 8th and 22nd, June 5th and 19th, and then July 4th, which next year it'll be on a Saturday.
I'm sorry, what were the dates in May?
May 8th and 22nd.
22nd.
Will you go ahead and through them all again? I'm sorry.
Yeah, so May 8th and 22nd, June 5th and 19th, and then July 4th. But I would also like to propose we look at, if we want to try to, if we actually hold Garibaldi on the last Saturday of April, sorry, that would be the 25th, then that Friday would be the 24th if we want to try to make the Garibaldi Festival bigger. And as far as writing a tourism grant and getting a much bigger band to come in to kick off maybe that 24th, I'd like to look at possibly doing that as well. I mean, that would give us 6 concerts instead of 5.
Wonder if we could get the Jonas Brothers to come down.
We'll see why not. They're touring.
Why not?
I know.
I will say,
Let's listen, guys.
I am in somebody's ear like a little cat when I'm across the street. So,
I'm sure.
When are
but
they gonna be in Charlotte? Are they planning?
they're not in Charlotte, they're gonna be in Raleigh.
No, they have a November concert in Charlotte.
They do have one in Charlotte now? Wow,
Yeah.
okay.
I looked it up.
So I'd like to ask the board for us to maybe lock in these dates and let's really start, because what I'd like to do then is maybe let Mount Holly know that we've selected our dates, so that then maybe they'll work around those dates.
I think it's a great idea.
Yep.
Do we need to vote on it, or we just nod our heads?
Mr.
Go ahead,
Mr.
Bill.
Chair. I think that's my update. All I have. Any questions on the DVD?
I have a question, and I don't know if we're going to talk about this, but do we have like a ballpark of how we did at Friday Night Live? And where are we in sponsorships?
We do. Good question. So if you flip over, the next to the last page is the financial report. And Jennifer, you want to grab one so you can actually see. So this is a spreadsheet that was created previously that we started filling in. And so the top portion is income, the lower portion is expenses. So mainly looking at the concert series, deposit startup, and the first concert, Friday Night Live, May 10th. Well, if you look across at the top, we actually did receive one more headline sponsorship of $3,500 from Eastwood Homes. And so as of today, our total sponsorship is $33,500 if you look at the top,
Top right.
across the top right. And so that's our total sponsorships collected to date, well, sponsorships committed. But then if you go down the column of Friday, May the 10th, you'll see, I just plugged in. So the first concert startup series, that $3,000, that consists of multiple sponsorships of $1,500, $1,000, and $500. And then the headline sponsorships across, but you'll see going down the column, our cash startup, our beverage sales from cash was a little over $4,000. Beverage sales from the Square credit card was a little over $2,000. Tips from
We
the.
did good tips.
We do really good in tips. We were working it.
Volunteers cracking those beers.
And so you can see we made almost $700 total in tips, which was good. And then we have our food vendor fees at $350. And Jennifer was doing really good with our t-shirt sales.
Yeah, we did great.
We did really good on our t-shirt sales. And so that our total income for the concert was $14,000. But then if you start looking at our expenses, as far as the band, the DJ, the stage, and then also break out all of our insurances, our ABC permits, our rain insurance. And so I break those out, divided by 5, so we kind of break it out per concert. And then the one thing that I have not plugged in here, I have not got our final cost from Standard Distributors as far as what our beer and wine cost us, so I need to plug, that's the only thing that I haven't plugged in. I reached out to Joe yesterday again, and so I need to follow back up with him. So after you take out all of our expenses, our total profit from the concert was a little over $5,000. minus, what, our beer expenses.
So that's pretty substantial. The beer would not, I mean, how much can you guess?
I think that was pretty even, kind of, as far as on par from last year's beer sales.
Yeah, I think we did a little better last year, but again, I'd have to go back and look, and I know we found some things in here that we tweaked to make it really,
This has been a working document over the last year, so.
Yeah, I think it's between 6 and 8 last year for the,
But this figure doesn't include how much the beer
The
wine
beer,
costs.
That's what I'm
us.
saying.
Right.
I'm
Yeah.
wondering how much.
Is it like
if you have-
around $250? Or I can't remember how much we
I
write the
can't
checks
remember.
for. I mean,
That's it?
Yeah, it's
Like,
not.
should we write a check for like $250
well,
for all our
no,
beer and wine?
No.
no.
I was like,
It depends
I
on the
start
beer
there.
sales, so it can range to like 1,500, it depends on
Yeah.
what kind of beer, was it
Sure.
craft
Yeah,
versus.
so we're 15 to 2,000 maybe, so our profit.
I would
maybe-
say more 15 down to 800. I think the
Okay.
lowest I've seen is about in 1,600's been the
Okay.
larger
Gotcha.
end, so.
Okay.
but
Okay,
some-
I was thinking about the checks we were writing for the part of the park where we didn't sell much beer. So
No, that's right, yeah, no,
that's-
they're higher when we get a good.
So I was just kind of guessing in my head what the profits.
Yeah.
3,500, 4,000 would
Yeah.
maybe be our profit.
And I would, the one caveat here is our rain insurance for these concerts, we upped our rain insurance. So
Yeah,
the
from
cost
last year, it's
last
more
year.
significant, you
Yeah,
can see here.
and so,
But that's good if it rains.
yeah, so, but I think overall, we're in a
We're
good
the first one,
position,
I
we're in a good
think.
position, so,
Yeah, so if we get the word out and such, and the weather.
right. So any questions or comments on this, how we're tracking this, and we'll do this for each of the concerts and provide feedback, so,
Will you update that and send it out to us
yes.
when you find out?
Oh, as far as when we do the beer sales and,
Right.
okay.
And
Yeah, go ahead.
and I guess this is just a good plug, although it shows we have 33,000 committed, we still need more.
Oh, yeah.
More sponsorships, so please keep trying to get sponsorships. And again, it's good for the year, it's not just Friday Night Live, it's supporting the DBDA and all of our functions, so.
Exactly.
Which I really love that approach.
I think we should bring the sponsorship packets to the Friday Night Live as well. The DJ had a big monitor screen in the front,
Yes.
and it's just an easy opportunity to just pass it out. Even if we have business cards for volunteers, we've got a
That's
standard.
great.
We've got a standard email now, so maybe people are checking IDs, can hand them a business card, say, hey, if you're
Absolutely.
interested.
Yeah, I say no packets, but something easy that somebody can
Yeah.
stick in a pocket. I think
Yeah.
that's a great idea, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, last year we got some sponsorships from people at the concert
Right.
saying, this is great, I love it,
Yeah.
how do we get involved? And we're like, here, call us.
I
Yeah.
think that's a great idea.
Well, I've started a, not Venmo, we can't do Venmo, but PayPal account for the DBDA, and, to confirm, I had to go back to because they always deposit like 2 or 3 cents, a couple of small deposits, and of course I had to go to the bank to try to find out how much they deposit, so now I can log back in and plug in those verify that to create our account, so that way that'll be another way if someone wants to donate for a cause, art or something that the DBA is doing, they can quickly do a PayPal transfer. So,
That's great.
And then if there is anything, just to note, to just make sure everyone's aware, in any of the projects that we do where you need to send out a form or a survey, we do have the subscription to the WUFU account that will allow you to connect payment to it. So if you were actually going to solicit and send out a form that required payment, you could connect that PayPal
Okay,
account
good,
through it,
okay.
so that you could do all that through,
Okay.
through an email sent.
And you can do an invoice too through PayPal, and, so there might be companies that want to pay through PayPal but still need an invoice, and you can do that as well.
okay. So yes, we're making some progress, and so yeah, anybody has any great ideas, throw them out. Let's work on it. So.
All right. Mark, treasurer's report.
All right. looks like we're in pretty good shape. There's no outstanding deposits. And you've got a copy of the report in your little packet there. The outstanding checks, the rain insurance for Friday Night Live is $5,000, cash startup $3,000, T-shirts $1,900, the stage band and DJ $3,250, uncollected committed sponsorships is $15,000. So if you look at this, you see that our balance $40,351.27 minus those outstanding checks, $14,336.93, leaves us with a current account balance of $26,014.34. And that's our available funds also. And down below that, you'll see the uncollected sponsorships to date is $15,000. These are Bill broke this down to, we've got the City of Belmont, $5,000 collected after July the 1st. Belmont Tourism Authority, $3,500 collected after July the 1st. Eastwood Belmont Homes, $3,500 that's been billed. North Star Realty, $1,500, and that was a credit card transaction.
Yeah, I'll be doing those this week. One thing I did not have is their, the zip code.
Yeah.
And so I needed the zip code because it will manually input their credits. I had their credit card information, so I'll finish. I've been getting their information, so I'll be plugging those in this week to get that money into our account, so.
And then the last two, renewal by Anderson, $1,000, and Slumpy's, $500. Any questions for me or Phil?
Looks good. After collections, $41,014.34. That's not bad.
Excellent.
Any questions for Mark? Jump right into promotions.
Additional updates.
Angela?
Nothing additional.
All right, jump into the chair report. Number one, Friday Night Live was awesome. I mean, just thank everyone that came out and
Yes.
volunteered or even just came out and enjoyed the night. It ended up being a beautiful night and a lot of fun. It's a good start. I think we've built a lot of momentum going forward. Now we've got people are aware of it again. Everyone's excited. I think it's only going to get bigger and bigger as we go. So if you can volunteer for even 2 hours, we'd appreciate it so that we can save our fingers. Phil will buy some stuff, so we'll get some hot toppers, make it a little easier. But second thing, we talked to Luke Manlove, who's a board member right now. We talked to him last night about a couple things. One, we asked him, and we decided at the last meeting we would approach him instead of collecting his sponsorship from Christmas Village if he would cater an event for volunteers and board members, and he agreed to that. So he'll be sending us some quotes on 2 events. One is going to be for board members. Was it board members?
Board and committee members.
Yeah, board and committee members and their spouse or significant others. And then the second one's going to be for all volunteers.
And sponsors.
And sponsors and all that stuff. So we're looking, the first one we're going to focus on is just thanking the board members and committee members. We want that to be intimate. We want it to be, social cocktail hour for a couple hours on. We're thinking of Thursday night, like 6 to 8. We want to do that pretty quick because it's been a while since we've just gotten together as board and committee members and just sat down and just had a good time. And we need to take a deep breath as volunteering is supposed to be fun. So we've been putting in a lot of hard work. Friday Night Live's taking up a lot of time with everybody. So it'd be nice to take a breather kind of halfway through and just celebrate everything. So if you look at your calendars, I'll probably send an email out. We're going to try to do it in the next probably month or so on a Thursday night. So just check your availability. It'll be 6 to 8 Thursday night. I think we're going to do it at either the specialty store or upstairs at his place. So we'll decide on that location, but he's going to send us some quotes this week. Did I miss anything on that?
No, that was, yeah.
All right. Second thing with Luke is we've approached him, and he's going to now step down and be on the promotions committee only. So we'll have a board vacancy. He has a lot going on, and we respect that. He's got a business to run. He's got a lot of things going on, and he needs to prioritize and focus on that first. And we respected that and wanted him wished him well, and he's done a lot. He did a lot with Christmas Village last year. So he's still going to be a huge asset to the promotions committee. He's going to have a lot of knowledge, especially as a local business owner. So we, on the record, want to thank him for all the hard work he's done, and he wanted to make sure that he's not, the connotation was he didn't want to be known as a quitter, and so I want to be very clear that that's not what's happening here. It was, we respect that he's got a private business to run, and that takes precedence, and he wants to volunteer when he gets time. And he thinks he's best used right now on a committee role versus a board role. So I think there's anything else you want to say on that. But we also approached Phil Champion. He's also hasn't been here for several meetings, and he has timing conflicts with BNI every Thursday at 8 a.m. So we're still going back and forth on timing and stuff like that, because I think this time works best for all of us. So we're continue to talk to him about his role, if he wants to be a board member or if he just wants to again step down and be on a committee. Because one thing that easier for him too is for promotions committee, those meetings at lunch work a lot better than they do in the morning. So maybe Phil might be able to help out on organization on those meetings versus having to show up on a Thursday at 7:30. So we will have at least one vacancy we'll need to fill, and potentially two. So like I said in the last several meetings, we've had several applicants who want to be on this board, and I appreciate all the hard work that you guys have put into the board, and I think we need to have a full team that shares that same passion and commitment to the board. So that's the reason why we kind of approached these people one-on-one and said, hey, you're awesome. We want to still use you and value all your expertise in Belmont and everything else, but we also need people to come help out and show up and kind of pull their weight a little bit too, even though it is volunteering. So those are a couple things. The other thing too I think we need to start thinking about is we got $40,000 essentially in the budget. We're gonna I'm optimistic we're gonna have an awesome year coming up with Friday Night Live each and every week, and we need to start thinking about ways to give back to the community. We're a 501c3. There's things that we can do. I don't know how we want to approach it. We can brainstorm as committees, but just start thinking, take it back to your committees. What's the best way that the DBDA can give back to the community? I mean, I think it'd be cool, at the last Friday Night Live, we almost do a presentation of whatever we decide to do. I think it'd be a great way to end the Friday Night Live series, is this was put on by the DBDA with all your, attendance each week and with sales and all this stuff. Here's what we're doing to give back to the community, and this is just the first project of many. So
A lot of people have no idea what the money
Exactly.
goes. The majority of people have no idea what the money goes for.
they think it goes in our pockets.
Exactly.
And so we want to be very clear that we're a 501c3 and we're invested in downtown Belmont. We need to put our dollars back in to do that. I mean,
Even some signage,
Yeah.
I mean, somewhere around at the beer tent, or, this money, even the tips go, feel like tipping, this is what your tips are going toward. It goes, it's not going in anybody's pocket here. These are all volunteers. People just don't have any idea.
Yeah.
I think the cans say.
The cans do say going to the
Yeah,
DPDA.
yeah,
Okay.
but it doesn't, it
Doesn't say
doesn't
what
have
the
our
DBDA
mission
does.
statement or anything, so all it says is the organization. So it would be nice to have our mission statement or something so people can
okay.
understand.
Well, and I know one thing for our art rap contest for the Friday Night Live, or for the July 4th concert, we're going to have pictures up of the some of the art for people to kind of share which ones they like
wow.
to
Oh, that
go
would be
for the one
exciting.
to be selected. They'll be kind of prejudged by some professionals, but then we want the public to kind of weigh in as well. So that'll be one way that we can also kind of promote and get some exposure.
Yeah.
But I really like the idea of us really, because I feel like the more that message is out there, the easier it will be for us to get sponsorships.
Yeah.
So.
And the other thing for Friday Night Live specifically, we were just in discussions with Luke last night. I mean, if you're a business on Main Street, we have room for you regardless to set up whatever you want. I forgot what exact vendors we had there last Friday, but we said, Luke, you want to put your truck right at the end of the block that says Belmont Specialty Foods, and you want to hand out stuff.
He said, I can hand out cookies with my
hand out
logo or
cookies or
something. That'd
whatever.
be a great way to promote your business.
Yeah. And so that's what we're really pushing, we're here for the downtown Belmont and the merchants and the retail, and for some people, the lodge did something awesome during Friday Night Live. They're all the way up on the other end, they're kind of getting, there's a lot of people coming to Friday Night Live, they're probably not that busy, and they had a mascot come down and pass out 10% stuff, so that's the stuff we're promoting,
Absolutely.
we appreciate the merchants downtown letting us shut down the street for a Friday night 4 or 5 times a summer. That's huge. So we need to, our way of saying almost thank you is come down, set up a shop, set up a tent, do whatever you need to do to make sure that these people come back to your store. And that's what the message we're really pushing out, so. Yep, anything else?
I was gonna say now that Caroline's here, we have enough, we can vote on our minutes.
That is true. A motion to approve last month's minutes. All right, all in favor say aye.
Did you get?
So I guess you could pick the first and second.
Yeah, Mark and Caroline, you get to pick who's first and second.
I was late, I'm sorry.
Can we go back to the other one or no?
You
Well,
can
we
if
need
you
to-
adjourn this and open
Let's
that
finish
back
this
up.
one up.
Yeah.
Any other new or old business for the DVDA or any other questions? Next Friday Night Live is the 24th. Keep pushing out.
Journey Tribute Band.
So, awesome. Let's adjourn the DBDA then. Let's reopen the Main Street Advisory Board, and let's motion to adopt the minutes for the Main Street Advisory Board. All right, David and Caroline. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
It is moved, and we'll adjourn the Main Street Advisory Board.
Great, thank y'all so much.
Thank you, everyone, for all your hard work.
I have
Are
an
we
extra
off?
copy of these for Caroline.
Yes.
There.
Oh,
Oh, here,
was there not one at her?
that's
Hey,
not,
I'm talking about this work plan.
oh, there was a handout
Oh, yeah,
from
she,
Jennifer.
Yeah.
Here we go.